Welcome back. Might as well start off proper and state that this is January 31st, 2025 at 9:30 a.m. And well, let's go ahead and dive into this little bit of weird content and I will be providing a link in the description that you can follow up on after viewing this video. Okay, so once again, I'm just going to ask you guys to play along. This is unscripted, off the cuff, and yeah, it's still rather early morning yet. So, this is the gist. I don't know where my information comes from. That seems to be somehow downloaded into me to where I have this capability of connecting the dots and therefore predictability of certain things come about. And to me, it's a very strange method, okay? Such as the factor that, what's it been, 2 days, give or take, since I used these magazines as props in a video? Well, typically, okay, I was raised as being one of those to where when you are done using something, you put it back where it first came from and belongs, right? And typically, I try to, well, for the most part, keep an organized place. Although, if you were to come in here today and actually see my mountains of boxes and my closets full of boxes and whatnot, you might think otherwise. But that is all because I have slowly been preparing over the last couple of years to relocate. Just waiting for the signs to come along to show me that it's time. Okay? So, yeah. And so we'll continue on from that point of, I do try to keep things organized by still following through with what I learned or was trained to do, is to put things back when done. Okay, and I did not do that with these magazines. Why? Oh, because it was predestined that they were to be used as a prop for another video in future content, right? And so, history, man, looking back at history and, the hidden truths, or so called hidden truths. Archaeology is one of those factors, as well as, um, you know, going to information sources such as libraries or even the internet, possibly, but nowadays, yeah, I would rather go book form, right? So, seeking out hidden truths is one thing, but when those so called hidden truths seek you out, that's when you really might start to see things. Now, remember, people, I'm just doing this off the cuff, all right? Well, we got this new president, and he claims that he basically, and I'm just kind of paraphrasing, okay, through what others have claimed, that he is going to be the disclosure president. And already by, releasing the JFK files and the other Kennedy files and, so on and so forth. And people are anticipating him to be, very transparent with those hidden files out there, and to release that much more, to disclose that much more, to expose that much more. All this hype of him doing this and all these high expectations. Well, the dude's, I mean, he goes at his own pace. He goes with his own flow. He's a Gemini. That's a Geminian trait to do so. and he's got people whispering in his ears of, to do this, do that, and everything else, and people have him confused because yeah, he goes walking around like the rest of the elitists in suit and ties, but he has more in common with the so-called common man than we might think. Okay, but that is shown on a more personal level to where the media does not like to show this. Okay, and so we have to understand those leaders in history in order to see a lot of the bigger pictures. We really have to understand who they have been and who they are and so on and so forth. Okay? And so, well, there's a couple of things that people are really getting disgruntled because they want this to come out. They want this. But this is tied in with so much. Just like I stated, we're not going to know the extent of this until they decide to disclose information over what is going on in the skies, right? Full disclosure, which has to happen with this because, gee, we've seen that this is tied in with those chemtrails and all that kind of good stuff, right? So, but in order to possibly understand this, and okay, I'm not going to include the screenshot again of that, what I showed in a previous video of that transparent jet that had the orb like shape at the nose, or where the nose of the supposed jet was supposed to be. Okay, put that visual in your head. If you watch that video, you know what I'm talking about, and you can put that visual in your head of the jets that are transparent with the orb in the front. All right, this is where it gets crazy. I vaguely hit upon this right here. After this event here occurred in 2001, man, a lot of those conspiracy theories really started popping off. And of course, this is one of those publications that came out and tried to debunk all those theories. Well, we are in the year 2025, and man, there's a lot of disgrace among those that, you know, slandered the names, especially of those in the public eye, big names that were labeled as conspiracy theorists, that, gee, those theories have actually become fact. All right? Well, this is another one that people are highly anticipating. The realities, and once again, I will not use the word truth. I don't agree with that word, regardless of what anybody has to say. But when you come down to, once again, those highest common denominators when connecting the dots, and when there's no wreckage to be found at one site, and the type of hole and that's left behind from a collision of a supposed jet into a building, some type of building, and things just don't add up, especially according to professional pilots and other professionals, firefighters and so on and so forth. And still all these years later, we are still stuck with this, but yet there's, believe it or not, one heck of a force out there that is bound determined to get to the bottom of this. Now, once again, I'm going to explain the story that on this date in 2001, I was sitting alongside my girlfriend that morning on our couch watching TV, and of course, we got to see President Bush, for some reason, you know, being televised, sitting there in an elementary school room, reading a book to the students of that school. And then we see the little parade back and forth of the Secret Service whispering in his ear, and then all of a sudden, there we go. We got a smoking building, and at that point, in which it was announced that a jet aircraft, or not jet aircraft, but a airliner had careened into the tower, and then it started, to unfold from there. And that is the point to where I turned, looked at my girlfriend, and I said, watch. There's going to be another one that's going to hit the other tower. Just watch. And it happened. And she looked at me with her mouth hanging open, and then she said, how'd you know? I just looked at her, put up my hands, shook my head back and forth. I don't know. I just knew it. And since that point in time, yeah, I became one of those so-called conspiracy theorists. And okay, so within this video that the link will direct you to, the host of the show, it really irritated me when he decided to start in talking about that coining of the term conspiracy theorist and where it originated and all that. And when he states, well, a conspiracy is this, he evidently, regardless of his past, still does not understand the real definition of what a conspiracy is. And it infuriated me. But I'm still going to direct you to this video, not because of the host. I could care less. Because he proved to me that, you're not all that, in my opinion. It is the guest speaker. And typically I do not care to watch any content to where somebody is screaming in my face. Alright? But this guy is showing his passion. And that needs to be very clear and evident that he's upset. And with good reason. Because of this here. Alright? And, there's a lot of information that he throws out there that's like, yeah, okay, well, whatever. The main point that I want to make is a factor of transparency, disclosure, and, what to expect. Because everything's connected. And what has already been released and soon to be released, once again, will be connected, right? Because history will eventually reveal those so-called hidden truths. And speaking of which, with this, remember, I brought up the word infiltration. Okay, and I got thinking about this because of this video of Joe Biden, and the Freemasonry and all that. Yeah, that was just an irritation factor, if you will. That was like, That was just to get under the skin of other elitists, okay? And furthermore, I do firmly believe that what occurred with that collision of helicopter and plane, yeah, that was a setup. Just like this and so much more. And and you have to understand when it comes down to this, there's a whole lot more than meets the eye. But we're going to, we're going to go with this for right now. And, you know, something's telling me to keep these out because there's going to be more that's going to have to be discussed pertaining to history and the future. You know, it's all tied together, people. You know, this right here. I mean, this explains just the visual explains so much in this book. Um, can you see what year this is? I don't know. I can't remember. Oh yeah, of course. Duh. So, yeah, 1969. Okay. Mm-hmm. And okay, so let's just go. Let's try a little bit of predictive programming. Hmm. What is the date on here? June 23rd, 69. And they came out with this. So, the year 2025. What might happen that is very significant in the month of June? Like I told you, people, you just gotta play along. I'm trying, I guess, in my weird methods of madness or through madness. This is, I'm just trying to open the minds of what few viewers I have. But it's still very uncanny and very strange how this information comes to me and then somehow something pops up that reaffirms, validates, confirms, you know? So anyways, yeah, check out this video, click on that link, and you'll hear more about this. And be prepared. Like I said, the guy is very passionate. Um, and once again, it's just crazy how information comes about. I make mention of something, then all of a sudden, boom, something comes to me, and then I just feel very adamant that, okay, I gotta share this to back up what I have claimed, because it's from there. And once again, it's all observational, people. After all, this is an observation channel. So until next time, take care of one another. Have a great one, and we will see you back here on this flip side.